Manchester's #1 hit music station. Key 103.
One of the most iconic hairdressers who styled some famous names, including David Bowie and Rod Stewart, is celebrating 50 years in the business in the city today. Pierre Alexandre opened his salon in the 1960s, and he's been credited with creating some of the world's most famous hairstyles. He's even worked with Take That.
And you are obviously an icon in hairdressing world and beyond that. And you've worked with some famous people we've talked about who have stood the test of time, but we've not mentioned five boys who are now who have been reborn, if you like.
Yes.
We're talking about Take That Home.
Yes.
And you've worked with them.
Well, it happened like this. I came from London back to Manchester, living in London. I sold the business in London back to the landlord for an undisclosed sum because you had to refurbish. And I was actually not going to come back to Manchester because I don't like going back in life, I like to go forward. However, I did. And Nigel Martin says, he was called Nigel Smith at the time, he's become Martin Smith, but fair enough. And he came to me and says, oh, I got these boys, and would you do the hair? And because he knew I had famous glands and so on. So I did, and for free, against credits on their record sleeves. And we did the hair for about a year and a half. They were in the salon nearly every day because they fancied the girls. And they had sandwiches. And I remember giving them many times money so they can buy sandwiches because Nigel was so tight, he wouldn't give them nothing. He was very strict with them. And eventually, they made it, obviously. However, at the time, I had a girl working for me, and I was opening another salon in Burnley at the time, and a Dutch girl. And she was deadly jealous of me that I'm doing personally those boys' hair. I went on holiday, I came back, and suddenly the boys went with this girl. I said, no problem. But behind everybody's back, she went to my accountant and says, I want to be paid for it, and caused a big fuss, which put me in a difficult position. So I wrote to Nigel, explained to him, what do I do? I mean, I don't want money, but you got to explain, because Nigel, this girl at that time stayed in Nigel's house in Didsbury. And he never answered, took the boys away, and that was it. I never heard from them. I saw the boys talk in the Kennels car park. I talked to Jason about 6 months before they got back together in Kendal Mills. He came over to me and talked to me for an hour. And then my staff phoned me up, and then of course made it. Then my staff phoned me up. In fact, Gemma in the reception, do you know that Gary Barlow wrote a book? And you're in it. So, of course, on the way back to the airport, obviously Manchester, on the way back to the airport, I bought it on the air crossing, and I read it. Most boring book I've ever seen, very badly written by a ghostwriter apparently. He says in the beginning, I can't write and have a bad memory in the front of the book. And he brought me out of being the gayest person in the world they have ever seen. I mean, brought me out of being gay. Nobody ever did that. I don't care. I really have no embarrassment about it. I'm very proud of it. I'm very happy. The Mark's hair, I bleached Mark's hair bloody awful. I was 190 years old. But he liked the putties in the salon and the girls. Anyway, however, he never mentioned that when he had no money, that his mother had birthday, for example, and he said, oh, I love you to do my mother's hair. So I said, I tell you what, I'll give you 40 quid, you pay on the reception with this money, and pretend that you paid for it and do your mother's hair. I then read in the book, at the same time, he was making loads of money selling his little tapes, which he made before he actually was with Take That. Also in the book, there's no mention that it was me who gave Nigel the contact with the producer to make the record deal. No mentions. I want to put the record straight for that. It was me who helped them. They were very nice boys. I think they're innocent of most of the things that you said. First of all, Guy had a ghostwriter, and Nigel never told them about it. But Nigel did make a lot of enemies at the time, because he really misused and used everybody to get on the top, which I sort of understood. But that's the true story.
And just fine.
I wish him good luck.
Oh, good.
And I do buy the records, by the way. I love the music.
And